Pharlight is one of 3 sounds in Komplete 14 by Native Instruments that work with granular synthesis. Pharlight creates vocal textures, pad sounds, leads and effects based on natural vocal timbres. My name is Thomas Foster and in this video I'll show you everything you need to know to use the Pharlight, control it with controllers or automations and program your own sounds. Good to have you here, let's go! To load the Pharlight, you can use the Komplete control. Simply click here on this arrow and find the Pharlight here. Or you use the contact like I do, so you can see here which key I am playing, right? So let's type in here PHA to find the Pharlight a little faster. Double click it and here it is. The first thing we can do is we can simply play the first sound that is already loaded, the Alchemist. Maybe you see here this XY pad. Here you can change the sound in a very interesting way, and you can define by your own what the XY pad is doing. But let's take a closer look what we can do here. The most important, I would say, is the possibility to load another preset. We can do this by clicking here where it says the Alchemist. That's the preset we were listening right now. And now I can click on another preset, the Big Sleep, the Cellar Voice. And that's very important for the new house I'm building, the Good Neighbor. Okay, you can filter the presets, so you can say I want to hear a pad sound that is simple and dramatic, and the more you filter, the less presets you see. When you find a sound that you like, simply click here this cross and you are back on the perform page. Okay. We see here the grain and the sample. So these are 2, let's say, voices or sound parts. The grain is working with granular synthesis, like you can see here in the graphic. And the sample is a simple sample player. You can change the volume of the sample here. You can turn the grain on and off, or the sample. And you can load another sound for the sample. So for example, you click on analog voice, and now the E or the hey. Yeah, the grain is very loud. Okay. Yeah, you also can change here the start time, but we come to this a little later. Here on the bottom we see 4 buttons called, 4 knobs called the macros. What they do, you can change this, and it's changing with every sound. Let's listen. Color, right? And the reverb. All right. Good. And it's very easy to control these macros. Let's say here, for example, macro 4. With a MIDI controller. Simply right-click this button and use the feature Learn MIDI CC Automation. Now I move a knob on my keyboard. In this case, it's the modulation wheel here, and immediately you see I'm controlling with the modulation wheel here this macro 4. If you don't want to have this connection, simply go to Remove Media Automation, and now I can move my controller and nothing is happening. So basically, that's it what you can do on the Perform page. Yeah, you can load presets by clicking here on the name of the preset you have right now. You can turn on and off the grain and the sample player. You can change the sounds and the volume of the grain and the sample player. You can change the start time of the sample here. And you can use the 4 macros with the mouse or with the external controller or with the automation of your DAW. But there are some more pages like grain, sample, effects and master. Let's go deeper. Here, the grain, we can edit the grain sound from the left side. On the sample page, we can edit the sample sound. We have an effect page and a master page. On the effect page, we have 4 effects for the sample player and 4 effects for the grain player. On the master page, we have 4 more effects for everything, means for the master. If you are on one of these 4 pages, grain, sample, effects or master, you have here another frame with 3 options. The SandFX, where you have a delay and a reverb in addition to the 12 effects I showed you right now. You can control here the macros and the XY pad, and you have here this modulation page with the LFO matrix and shaper. Whew. Okay, let's dive in. We start with the sample page. So to hear better what we're doing, we mute the grain. So now we just hear this sample. Here we have a volume. Let's go to 100%. So we hear a little bit more. The first thing you can do, you can change the start point here. So let's move it to here. That's good. Maybe a little bit more. This is good. And here we have an envelope, a classical envelope with RDSR. So ADSR, sorry, that was my German pronouncement. A is the attack, so how fast do we hear the sound? If we go up, we hear a fade in. The same for the ADSR, the release, short or long, what is happening when I release the key, right? And you have a decay and sustain, so if I put the volume of the sustain down, I can make this sound very short, right? We have a filter, that's why the sound is so special. Let's go to we can change here the mode. Let's go to a low pass filter 4-pole. There's already something happening with the shaper, but I can turn this off here. Okay. Now we have a straight filter that you can change here to a high pass, band pass or whatever you like. And you can modulate with this envelope this filter. So to do this, we go down on the filter and now we turn up the envelope. Attack. And so on. Let's turn the filter off. We also can pitch the sound or tune the sound. Okay. So this was the sampler. Let's go to the grain that is editing here this grain sound. First we have to turn it on. So we have, let's start here. We can tune it. We can change the volume and the panning, and we have also an envelope like we saw on the sample. We can control what is happening here. Let me give away this moving thing. Yeah, and here. So here you can set the range. What is the range we are using to play the sound? Let's choose this range. And still we have here some movement going on. Here you can change the position and you can set the grains, how is the interval and the size. So everything that is the grain synthesis you can change here. You have a lot of fun playing around here, but let's go to the effects. Here, maybe we choose another sound that is a little bit more plucky, decaying. Maybe this is a good option. Yeah, maybe not so much reverb. Where's the reverb? It could be on the master page. Yeah, that's good. Let's go to the effects. Here, we have 4 effects for the sample and 4 effects for the grain. And I click on EQ, and here I have the EQ. Here where it says none, I can add a new effect. So let's go here and choose a delay. I can choose here a preset. I can change here with the faders or with the knobs how the delay sounds. If I want to change the delay to another effect, I have to click here, this 8 knobs, dots here, and now I can say I want to hear a drive instead of the delay, and here it is. So let's turn it off. Right. So we have 4 effects for the sampler, 4 effects for the grain, and 4 more effects on the master, means on the grain and the sample. So I told you, if you're not on the perform page, you are, let's say, at the grain page, then you see here SandFX macros and modulation. Let's go to SandFX. Here we have a delay. Let's turn it on. I can say how much I would like to send from sample to the delay from here. Yeah. And now I can change the delay with more feedback, changing the delay time, changing the preset, turn it off. Also, you could send some delay from the grain. And we can send to the reverb, but first we have to turn it on. Let's send it. Pump the volume. Here it is. Change the size, the time. Find another preset. All right. That's what you can do on the SandFX page. The macros, we have 4 macros. I already showed you, but how can we say what a macro is doing? Let's say we would like to change here this pitch effect. Let's go back to the middle. Okay, turn off the sample so we hear it more what is happening. And now you see here this little X. We have a letter on every knob. And here we can say, I would like to use the macro A. We have A, B, C, and D. I would like to use macro A to control the pitch. Why is nothing happening? Because we first have to give up this slider here to say how much we want to control it. And in additional, we would like to control also with a macro, also with the first macro, the position. So now we're controlling with macro A the position, that's, you can see it, and maybe you can hear it, and also the tuning. So if you don't like the name, you can change the name here. Maybe you prefer, I don't know, color, right? Or detune is not so bad. Tuning or detune, something like this is okay. And you see the same name on the main page here. Good. And so we had the SandFX, the macros. Let's go to modulation. Here we have two LFOs, 1 and 2. So what is a LFO doing? Let's go to the grain page. And now we say we want to control with the LFO1 the pitch effect that we had right now. So we go here to LFO1. And now it's going up and down. And we can make this faster. I think we have a lot of delay. That's why we don't hear so exactly what is happening. Maybe we find the delay here. That's this one. Yeah, even better. And do we have here? Nothing is on. Let's turn off the reverb. There is no reverb. Okay. Again, here is another delay. Yeah, sometimes it's not so easy to find the effect that you don't want to have. But I think that's okay. Now we hear it. We go to the modulation again. Make the LFO slower. Yeah, that's what a LFO is doing. So you can change the speed and you also can change the type of LFO. For example, you could use random up or ramp up or random. Let's go back to sine. And now we want to use the shaper. So we choose here the input for the shaper. We choose the LFO1. So now you see that the LFO is already controlling the shaper. But the tuning is still controlled by LFO1. But now we say the shaper should control the LFO1. Where's the shaper? I'm blind. Here it is, S1, the shaper. And now we can change here how the movement is. We can go up. Yeah, you have two shapers, so a lot of crazy things that you can do. Let's wrap up, right? We have the most important page, the perform page, where we can load our presets by clicking here on the name. We can filter the presets very fast by clicking here on some of the type, pitch, character, or mood things. We can change the grain sound at a sample sound, turn it on or off, change the volume, and we can use the macros to change our sound in real time, like with the XY pad. And we can click on grain to edit the grain sound, click on sample to edit the sample sounds, add some effects to the grain or to the sample or to everything. I created a playlist for you with all my videos to Komplete 14. You find the link in the description of this video. Thanks for watching. Always stay creative. Cheers. I created a YouTube playlist for you with all my videos for Komplete 14. You find the link to this playlist in the description of this video. Thanks for watching. Always stay creative. Cheers.
We at Mugent have been working hard to create a new plugin that is more musical than anything else out there. We are thrilled to present the Mugent Player. Each instrument in the Mugent Player comes with a composition, MIDI files you just drag and drop into your session, so you can be inspired not only by a sound, but also by an exciting melody or characteristic chord progression. All of our instruments and MIDI files can be downloaded from the cloud. This means that every time you open the plugin, there might just be a new patch or a new MIDI file waiting for you. Simply double-click to load it into your plugin. In addition to the individual instruments, the Mugent Player also has kits. These are arrangements that sound like a complete song. With a single click, you can load all the patches, and as soon as you've dropped the MIDI files into your DAW, you can start using them to create something new. But the most incredible thing is, the basic version of Mugent Player is free. Click on the link in the video description to get the Mugent Player. In it, you will find a large selection of instruments, MIDI files, and kits that you can download for free and start using right away. Get the Mugent Player now and create music inspired by great sounds and compositions. Mugent, to make music.